Holy fuck.
Tell you what.
The only thing you have to do. The only thing he has to do.
That's a good point. It's funny how Joe points out everything that everybody else has to do. Like, the only thing you have to do is this, and Bill's got to upload the podcast, and me, well, Chris, you're just, you know.
That's right.
Joe over here is 6 feet away from his microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Usual.
All right. Okay. All right. You got me there. All right.
Don't mind me. I got my microphone in the other room. I'm gonna yell loud enough for it to hear me.
With a cup and a string.
Dude,
Yeah.
so the freaking herpes virus caught up to me finally, and I have this fucking cold, whatever it is
You
that's
got the
been going
clap?
around. Yeah, whatever it is, dude. I don't know. It hit me like a brick wall, and I had like the worst sinus pressure headache I've ever had in my life.
Are you all itchy in your swimsuit parts?
Yeah, it sucks.
I knew it.
It sucks. It's a
You
bummer.
gotta stop with them swinger parties, man. That's where you get that stuff.
True.
Yep.
You tell your
Unless
wife.
you do testing.
Yeah. I'm not gonna feed the hype. I don't take tests. So just roll with it, man. I don't need to be a statistic. If you don't test for it, you don't know if you're a statistic. So
You know
That's
what
like
I discovered this week?
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say that. Did you guys see that picture that Chris sent out of like a selfie of him and his wife? And they both had like a very similar smile.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment that I realized that Chris and his wife look a lot alike with their cute little cheeky dimples. And I was like, you better not get a DNA test, bro, because you might not like the results.
what did I say?
Something about like your cousin already married a granddaughter or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
Oh man. Look at man. Hey Rich, how you doing, man? Long time no see.
Rich
Happy
is
New Year,
here,
my
yeah.
friend.
See, he's coming and then he's gonna leave. That's what he does.
Yep.
He
That's
does what they
cool.
call a pop in.
It's all good. That's what he says. He says just a quick tap in. Just wants
That's
to say,
all right.
hey, happy New Year.
that's cool.
How's it going, Rich?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Before I forget, don't forget.
Yeah.
Before I forget, don't forget. That doesn't really make any sense. Luke and his little buddy Randy are actually watching tonight, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how they got access to the TV this late or the computer this late, but
He needs his beauty sleep. Everyone knows.
probably broke into the downtown library, I suppose, and hopped on the internet.
That works. I guess.
Around here, you don't ever touch computers at libraries because it's all homeless people. So,
Really?
oh yeah, dude. Because they don't turn the homeless people away from the libraries, so you just go in there and it's nasty.
Do they have library cards?
I don't think you need a library card to go in the library. You just need a library card to check out a book.
I think you have to have an address for that too, to have a library card.
Yeah. You know that, like, I wonder if those library fees, because I know when I was a little kid, I never returned books. So, like, do you think one day they're going to come knocking on my door?
The library police?
Yeah, library.
I mean, you never know.
I'm going to go to apply for, like, some kind of a government-backed loan or something, and they're going to be like, yeah, we've been looking for you.
Fast forward 12 years from now, Chris is in the clink, and they're like, what are you in here for? I'm like, oh, I never returned my library books.
I stole Huck Finn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Took
man,
the entire
barbecue
series of
bear.
Hardy Boys.
Yeah.
Never gave them back.
Man. But talk about, like, the elephant in the room. This
Joe's
year,
orange shirt.
yeah, this
It's
year has
yellow.
gone by
Thanks,
so
Adam.
fast. Like,
Oh, is it yellow?
it is yellow. What's wrong with you, dude?
Oh, yeah, it is.
But
My
yeah,
bad.
this year-
These are blue blockers.
My goodness gracious, man. Like, what was it?
Hey,
Someone
wait,
just
hold on.
posted. Good.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Tom Lech posted, I think it was him earlier before the stream started. He said, was it Tom? I swear it was Tom.
I don't know. You started the
right
story.
here it goes. Says this year went by too quick. I could barely remember what happened. He just stepped off the plane from last year's symposium, and now he's about to get on the plane again. It's like, oh wow. When you think about it like that, that's pretty quick.
Bill was talking about his blue blockers. Dude, you guys, I don't think any of you guys like dye here, right?
No.
Everyone's used it occasionally in the past.
Oh, yeah.
I've used it, but I've
For sure.
Did I ever
Use what
tell you
now?
my dye story?
dye
Maybe.
Like beard dye, hair dye.
refrigeration oil
refrigeration
dye.
Oh, refrigeration dye. Oh, yeah. No.
All right, well, sit back and relax because this is a good one.
Get your popcorn, guys. Get your popcorn.
This was quite a while ago. All right, I was a young tyke. I was working for my dad, and There is a guy who owns a construction company that's nationwide. I'm sure a lot of people here see his trucks around. They like build highways and all kinds of crap. But I was working on the owner's house. All right. And he had an old carrier system. It had a real bad leak in it. And like you would add refrigerant and it leaked out after a couple days or whatever. Well, there was a little bit of pressure left. And I'm like, we couldn't find, I didn't have a good, I had like a TIFF leak detector, which those things, come on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever had those.
I did.
Nope.
TIFF, just fold it up and freaking call it quits because you guys suck. All right. Anyway, no luck with the leak detector. I brought dye out. Well, one thing I forgot to bring out, there was a dye kit that I had, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had the injector tool and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, I used all the dye that was in the kit, and I went to go buy a refill at the supply house. Well, I get back to the house and I realized I left the kit itself in another truck. It's like an hour away. So what I did was I hooked up the dye, whatever it is, it's like the
Capsule
cartridge
or whatever, to a refrigerant hose, and there's like an ejector thing. So I made like a little homemade plunger tool. I was gonna try pushing it in, and the freaking thing on the inside spun.
Oh no!
Oh no, that is amazing.
And the freaking thing, listen, it was all over my face. I was 100% yellow. And I was like, and I couldn't get it off. And then
like, oh, I've been slimed.
Like a fucking radioactive isotope.
Yeah.
I opened my eyes and I'm like looking around, and I felt like I had blue blockers on. Everything was yellow.
Oh, that is amazing.
That is amazing.
That stuff is like semi-permanent too. How long did it take to get off that off your skin?
It was like legit. It was like 2 hours that I was looking everything in yellow, and I was flushing my eyes and everything. It wouldn't come out of my eyes.
So if you ever get something
man.
stuck in your eye and you have to go to the doctor to get it removed, I've had that happen too many times. They actually put a dye on your eye, and then they use a black light like to find the scratches in your eyeballs, dude. I bet you yours were like just fucking all.
What would have been even better is if that guy walked in the room and he's like, "What happened?" And Adam's like, "I think I found the leak." It's just a pile of slime right there.
It was awful. And honestly, he had like some imported where the condensers were at. There's like this big wall, this alcove area, and the dye got all over the stone and everything else.
Oh man!
He's gonna sue me. He's gonna take everything I'm worth. But I think he was worried about me suing him.
Oh,
yeah.
Who was it? Someone just said it right now. Where's it at? You look like you robbed a bank, like you opened a dye pack on a freaking $100,000 stack, and it just freaking blew up on you.
See, and then 2 days later, you become the Toxic Avenger.
Yep.
Yeah. That was
That's how
probably one of the last times I ever used dye, to be honest with you.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hate dye so much. Like I've used it, I think maybe twice in my entire life, and every single time, even with the actual proper plunger from the kit, I still somehow manage to get it all over my hands, even though I wear gloves. It gets in all my hoses, my manifold. Like it's just so messy. I hate it.
You know what? I'll confess, I am still using it periodically, to be honest, because some of the units I work on, they're just so old, and there's so many condensers in them, and sometimes that's your last resort. It's pretty much my last resort, and I'll put it in and see if we could find something. If not, this game changed.
Have you tried to do the old fashioned thing, like, I don't know, put a pump it full of nitrogen with a little bit of tracer gas or anything like that?
Yeah,
nothing.
For sure, you're right, Bill. That's like the second last resort.
As long as it doesn't have an EEV, just keep pumping it. You'll make the leak. It'll come. Like get it up to 400 psi.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to have like a really old compressor where you blow past a reed or something, but
yeah, exactly.
I've used dye a few times. And it's just, man, the blowback when even just the little bit of spray back when you pull off your gauges, just that tiny bit, it just gets everywhere. And it's
that's so messy.
For regular RTUs or residential splits, for sure, no, that's like you don't use it. But like for some of these package units like Dectron and Pool Pack and all these things, like sometimes it's just crazy, dude. You get so much components, so much bullshit in there. It's like you don't even know where to start.
I invented my own leak detection system. I just use glitter. I inject glitter into the system, so when I do find it, it's just this nice little shiny rainbow of of splatter marks. It's not dirty. It's not messy. It doesn't stick to you very long. Just shooting glitter out of the system.
Perfect.
I recommend everybody use that.
Did you guys see that link I posted? That Fluke visual leak detector?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's pretty
I
cool.
didn't actually click on the link, but I know of that thing.
I've never heard of
uses
it.
sound and stuff, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
it has like a super high-end microphone, and then it uses thermal imaging at the same time or something like that, I think.
I don't know if it's thermal imaging, but it puts it on the screen. Like it makes a big blotch where your leak is at.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks pretty cool when they show it.
I mean, that's something like that Chris Stevens would definitely buy for sure. That's in your
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
what was
you
the price tag on that thing?
I don't
Like
even
$5
know.
grand.
probably maybe more.
I am making some serious changes. And,
I mean, he did spend
cutting back.
$2,200 on electronic, what are the tweezers or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's right here.
Yeah, it's only
$25,000.
$25,000. Are you serious?
Well,
My digital tweezer.
so I
No.
posted a question in the group on Facebook the other day about because I've run into this, and I was watching that. There's that what's that guy's name that works on those steam boilers?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Nope.
Ricky
actually, I
the
don't.
Dragon Steamboat.
I don't know. But anyways, the pressure
No.
trolls and vapor stats and that, even brand new out of the box,
Yeah.
a lot of times they're not accurate, right?
Okay,
Even if
yeah.
you set them up, they're just not accurate. So I asked, I said, what does everyone use to test the accuracy of these?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen
Whatever. And somebody posted a link for a Fluke device where you could like pressurize it, kind of like the pressure switch tester, and it was like $2,000 or $2,200 or something like that.
that. Pretty
Wow.
cool though.
Yeah, but
It-
then I was thinking, I'm like, why don't I just use my freaking field piece pressure switch tester that I already own for
Hey,
that?
think about this.
Yeah.
Think about this. So if there was a tool that doesn't exist right now, but it was a tool like you maybe not necessarily invented, but a tool like if only this company would make this for me, I would pay $25,000 for it. What is that tool? What is that tool for you guys? The
Well, I'm
magic
not gonna
tool that
tell-
nobody
I'm
makes.
not going to tell you what it is because then I
I
can't.
got a
invent
notepad that's empty right now.
You know what I want? I don't know how to weld. If I knew how to weld, it would be a lot easier. But one thing that in the Midwest, all the furnaces are in the basements, and there's something called. I know people in the South don't know what this is, but it's called a return drop.
Oh, I thought you were going to
Well,
say dentist.
They call it a drop. Yeah, we have those too.
water, not
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Water instead of Mountain Dew. Teachers. Walmarts where people stand up.
Non-sexual partner relatives.
But yeah, anyways, when I'm hooking up my return drop, either a 1-inch filter rack, I don't know if you guys know what a filter rack is, but a filter rack is just like a slot that you put in between the filter drop and the furnace, or a media filter.
Right.
What I always do is I notch my duct. If I have a radius duct or whatever, I notch it. Or some people call it dovetail, whatever, but I notch it and then I fold it over real nice so it's nice and tight in between your connection, right?
Right.
But when you do like a big 20 by 25 or 25 by 25, when you're trying to reach all the way in the back,
Mm-hmm.
pain in the dick.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do, and I'm getting old. So I was thinking, what if you had Seamers with extended handles? So I could sit back and just drink my coffee like 4 feet away with Seamers and freaking crank on this thing, huh?
How about the old systems that the guys put the screws in the back?
I mean, couldn't you just make it and then put it all together, or do you need this
No.
seamer thing to help put it together?
A lot of times there's like stuff in
Hammer, yeah.
place. Yeah, you're not gonna.
You're not going to get to it.
There was actually a pretty good post in the HVAC Overtime group. It relates to the class you guys went to, Bill and Adam, the NCI class, about that water heater. That was pretty cool. The guy
With Jim Davison.
the guy tagged Jim Davis, I believe. He put the barometric damper on that exhaust, the venting.
Oh yeah, the one that had the two. What was it? I can't remember the post exactly, but it had two vents.
Yeah.
It was two water heaters mounted in one vent or something like that.
No,
Or
It
is
goes
it-
one barometric and it goes out.
Oh, that's right. You had a furnace and a water heater on one vent.
should we pull it up?
You can go for it.
Let me see if I can.
I was at
Maybe
a
explain how the barometric damper, to the guys that don't know, how it maintains a certain, let's say, static.
real quick. I was at a nursing home this week, and I was in the mechanical room working on a furnace. And I looked over, and they had these two giant water heaters, both tied into one vent. And I was watching them, and I realized real quick, it's like, man, I should probably get a personal CO monitor, which I don't have yet. And it was funny. I was watching one kick on, and I was thinking like maybe they're smart enough to twin them, so like they somehow come on together or something. But no, one would kick on. There's no dampers or nothing in place, so one would kick on, and the other one just sitting there. And then a little while later, like the other one would come on. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably getting poisoned right now.
What was it on?
I don't know. I didn't have any sort of CO testing device on me. I mean, there was a CO monitor on the wall, but that's those aren't.
Oh.
It wasn't a low level monitor.
Sound came on. How do I turn the sound off, everyone?
Chris Hughes, what you need to do is highlight someone's name, and you can copy and paste it into the chat, and then mention them or whatever, like Hausch is saying, and then it'll highlight to get your attention.
Cyborg, for some reason, when I clicked the link, I didn't go through the admin side. So no, today I don't, unfortunately. Or else, a lot of things will be popping up. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah.
This is it.
Joe's got a potato for her brain again. So
get out of here. Well, you listen. You sent the link. I clicked it, and this is what happens.
I still.
Who has a potato brain? Huh?
You do, dummy.
Lickety bippity. All right. What are we looking at here, Adam?
We're looking at a tea that he's putting on top of his water heater.
That doesn't look good.
He took out the. Tell him what he took out.
But he's got
guys,
that.
I don't know.
He took out the draft hood, whatever.
The draft hood.
Okay. He relocated it.
Yeah.
No.
That's what. Yeah, you're supposed to say, right, Bill?
Yeah.
You can't modify them or you relocate it.
Yeah, I don't steal. I just relocate.
Right.
Into my pockets.
We had something else here I wanted to show too.
But what was he doing? Like, what was the purpose of that?
This was his.
It's like telling a story starting from the middle again.
Right. That's what he did.
It's like watching NASCAR races in reverse.
It's like a Joe story right there.
Right.
Right. He said.
I'm pretty sure Jim's in the chat right now.
Is he?
Is he?
I'm pretty sure that's Jim right there.
Where?
Jim Davison.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I just highlighted it and posted it. I bet you that's Jim. Jim, is that you?
We can't see anyone at Facebook. I'm sorry. You have to jump through some hoops that I don't know what it's all about.
Yeah, it's silly what they make you do for Facebook. So all we see is
Will the
Facebook.
real Jim Davison please stand up?
Mm-hmm.
When did you add a son to the end of his name?
Not Davis.
Jim Davis.
Yes.
I call him Davis. I call him whatever I want.
That's true. You call pretty much everybody whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
that is
don't
Jim.
care.
So.
Jim Davison, like Harley Davidson.
Yeah, I give up on this.
What were you trying to do?
So what else you got on your list?
He was trying to get his draft in line. And what else? He was saying something else, but I'm giving up.
Jesus, it says, how is he even watching from Facebook? Because we stream to Facebook, my friend.
Yeah, Jesus Fish.
We lose all of our viewers, but
They don't have Facebook in Mexico.
I think he lives in like Toledo or something like that, dude.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's basically Mexico. Toledo?
Jesus Fish, where do you live, dude? You live like in the Midwest or something.
That's a
I
good
think you told me
question.
one time, and I was like, oh, wow. For some reason, I
Oh,
thought
you
he
could
like,
just-
lived in California.
does
or
this
something.
mean yes? This is Jim.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you read his comment at least? Well,
He lives in
replied, 'cause
Chicago.
He pretty much summed it up.
Oh,
Dude,
he's
he's
in
right
Adams
around
area.
the corner from you, Adam.
He does.
You got a Jesus
Hang
Fish
out.
swimming around the neighborhood.
You should post your address. He'll come stop by.
Sweet.
Mhm. That's a good idea. Just post it
You
up
could do-
randomly.
you know what? Jesus Fish, you could do the show with Adam. He'll let you do it live next Friday.
You can lay
Sit
in the
next
bed
to him.
behind him.
You go, yeah, you could just lay in the bed.
Do it.
Just spread
Your
eagle.
wife would be so pissed. Like some random dude. Hi, my name's Jesus.
Hey, I'm Jesus Fish. I'm here for the show. She's like, what? The donkey show? What are you talking about? Get out of here.
Oh man, happy
was-
New
I
Year's.
sent- I
Jim.
sent,
Happy New Year's.
I sent Jim Davis some of those T-shirts with him on there.
Oh,
I even sent
bought-
one for his wife.
I think he
you
bought one too as well.
I know.
That's awesome.
I bought some shirts not previous to you designing this shirt. I bought a couple shirts to send to him, and I just haven't got around to going to the post office. Sorry.
T-shirts are a hit. They're awesome.
I mean, not only does it take 3 months for you to get the shirts, but now it's going to take 3 months for you to get the shirts to Jim Davis, when you could have just had them sent directly to him.
Well, I
from
didn't
the
know his address or his size at the time.
Youth small, and I don't know his address.
Oh, this is a good question right here. Altex said, what's the best way to figure out the percentage of outdoor air through an RTU? If you have an outdoor air damper on it, you can just measure the airflow with a anemometer. That's probably the easiest way to do so. Depending,
what's the down and dirty way of doing it?
There's an equation. You have to get
use the equation, calculate. You have to measure the CFM of the unit, open up the damper, follow some tables, and then you can guesstimate how much air is coming in.
You could, you get the mixed air. I think, what is it? The mixed air temp minus the return air temp divided by like the supply and return, I believe.
Oh, that's a good Chris Hughes question right there. He knows all the mixture equations.
There you go.
I've never dived down this rabbit hole, but it sounds interesting. Because
I think that's what.
Anything, if you guys don't already know, TEC, Chris Hughes was sitting in his lab one day and he came up with all these different ideas, and he actually made an app with a bunch of mathematical calculations. And then for a while, it was just kind of like a beta thing. And then they released it full version now. And I bet you he's got something in there. He's got all kinds of air equations in that.
So
app.
it's a app you can download right now?
Yeah.
And also, I think NCI has a class on that.
What'd you say?
Balancing economizers.
NCI's class is using an anemometer, I'm almost positive.
I have literally never done any of that. Like, I've always done it. Again, I'm gonna expose my ignorance here, but just sort of down and dirty and just set it for about 10% open. That's what I've always been told to do.
A lot of people do. But how do you know? Yeah,
everything HVACR, honestly, that's the down and dirty way to do it. You test the air balance. As long as your kitchen, your smoke's not rolling out of your hoods and you're just trying to balance the building, don't ever play with a kitchen because it's pretty technical trying to balance the hoods.
Because then you got your exhaust hoods that you gotta take into account for too. And your makeup air.
You just adjust the outside air dampers until your building is in a slightly positive pressure. That's the most down and dirty way to do it.
Just, sticking your manometer in the like the roof hatch. I've seen, Chris, you've done that before.
That was a crappy way to show how high the static in the building was, or the negative air pressure. So,
and also, you weren't using a super high end manometer.
No. That was just I was saying that the customer was calling saying they were getting a sewage smell in the building, and so I just used the field piece.
See, but I kind of feel
Yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say
sorry, Joe.
Sorry, I was just gonna say the equation. That's the school way. That's what they teach you. That's where I got that from.
And so the school way, Joe, you're talking about. Like, I'm sure there's a place for that, but I think of it as like these restaurants have like these exhaust hoods that's probably had 3 motors changed out. Not sure if it's the original one that was in the original design. Makeup air is different. Belts are different. They're old or worn. Like, there's already all these different variables, that already are negating the airflow or affecting it in some way, shape, or form. So that's
what did Joe your way? You were talking about mixed air, right?
Yeah,
that.
Mixed air minus return air divided by your supply. Sorry, your out there minus your return air will get you your percentage of your outdoor mixed air.
But you don't really actual legit spec OEM performance data doesn't really matter, right? Because you're just measuring temperatures. Yeah. So that doesn't matter if anything's changed
on that aspect. No. But I see where he's saying. Yeah, go ahead.
What setting do you set the economizer to? Like A, B, C, D?
I set them to because we don't have humidity here, so I actually set them to minimum outside air position majority of the time, and I take the enthalpy out of the picture, and then just set the dampers to open and close, depending on what we want. So we don't even look at the humidity really. Oftentimes we have dry bulb economizers that only measure temperature. So then A, B, C, and D are super easy because you're not looking at an enthalpy chart. You're just looking at outside air and then just setting it to turn on, to open the outside air dampers below 60 degrees or whatever it is. And then you set a minimum outside air position.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about, rooftop units and commercial and that, do you remember that job that I talked about? We did that we downsized the equipment substantially over there. It was like 375,000 BTU, 15 ton or whatever rooftop unit. Yeah. We put in 100,000 4-ton.
Yeah.
He's just fine.
Is it?
Oh,
so negative something air outside.
So we were talking about this whole crazy Arctic blast that you guys all got, right? In Southern California, it was a trip. It was 80 degrees here. And then like 3 days later, it's 50. But it was crazy. So with all the equipment downsizing you've done over the last year, Adam, were you scared coming into that Arctic blast? Like, was your butt a little bit puckered?
No, not really. I mean, there was maybe 2 jobs that I was kind of questioning a little bit. And the only reason why I was questioning it is because the people called me previously like, this thing runs a lot. Like, yeah, that's kind of the goal, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no problem. There is one which I don't think I have a problem. Technically, I have a problem, but I think it's the equipment problem. We reduced the furnace. It was 100,000. We brought it down to 60,000 in this house. And he was saying that like when it's really cold outside, he can't hit 70. Like he can't get to 70. Right. So I go over there and it's a newer, less than a year old, 6 months old, Amana 2-stage furnace. So I get all my probes out, Steve Reardon style, pull up the measure quick on the iPad. I start going through everything. I go into test mode on the thing, and it's running in high fire. And when you lock it into high fire when you're in test mode with the app, and I'm running it, I'm trying to clock the meter, and then it says, "Hey, change the orifices. You're too far off." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And I go back inside. It dropped on the low fire, and then every time I do that, I can't get it to lock into high fire. So this was late in the day. I didn't really dive into it too much. I saw the inducer motor was like ramping down, so it looked like it was intentionally staging down. It seems like it's a bad circuit board issue, but it's running on first stage. That's my guess on this one. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Right?
How did you fare with this Arctic blast, Joe? Were you
Interesting.
guys just slammed up there, or was it just normal for you?
It was kind of normal.
Oh, my internet's a little late.
I think I had just one call that was out of the ordinary. I think the same thing as Adam. I think he was saying is there was a driveway that was cold weather shut off. So I guess it wasn't set up right in control. So their driveway wasn't melted because it was let's say -12 and it wasn't kicking on and blah 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 blah. But other than that, it was like normal. It was just normal.
It's that cold though, Joe. It's a bitch to melt.
Yeah, of course it is, dude. Of course.
Now these people are like super rich people. So are they pissed because it's -12 and there's snow on their driveway?
Yeah, that's their problems. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Interesting. Well, Bill left. I was going to ask him about his experiences with it all, but
yeah, see everything HVAC saying busted pipes everywhere. Yeah, thank God I didn't get any of that. Close. You could tell it was close calls with some of them, but not quite busted. But that sucks, dude.
So with your system designs, Adam, and I realize, you want to follow as many codes and you want to make sure that you follow everything to make sure you don't oversize stuff. But when you're dealing with inverter systems, what's the harm of aiming, towards the middle of the potential capacity that it has? So that way you have the room. Am I understanding that correctly? Yeah, with like a heat pump.
So, I mean, that's just the code is manual S. You have to meet manual S, and manual S has a different, basically oversizing limit if it's single stage equipment, 2-stage equipment, or inverter. And I guess it's about to change for heat pumps. But the thing is, think of it this way: like when you oversize it, then you don't get the runtime during cooling. And if you live in a what do they call it? Wet coil or green grass state or whatever that Ed Janois calls
high
it.
humidity state.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You reduce your runtime drastically, so you're not dehumidifying. But then I've had the argument. Actually, when I was at MeasureQuick, there was a company, the owner of a company there, big company. He said he had 80 techs or something like that. And he was saying, well, there's dehumidification mode in these, these inverters, and that's true. But the thing is, you're installing a 20 SEER or 20 plus SEER piece of equipment, and then you're slowing the airflow down, and you're running it as like a single stage. So it's like,
it's not gonna be
why don't you just sell them a 16 SEER single stage if you're going to run as a running on low? What's the point?
Yeah,
you're not getting the efficiency out of it, right?
I agree there 100%.
So is it safe to say, since those systems that you downsized, really had no problem keeping up in the Arctic chill, that they were kind of oversized because that wasn't a design day. You could probably go back and downsize it a little bit more.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean,
Be a man.
You're right. I mean, Manual J, it is.
But
it's a little conservative.
I'm sure you want to give them a little bit of wiggle room on for stuff like that. You know,
it's yeah. You don't want to get a bunch of calls with everyone pissed off at you. You know?
I had that. I had a bunch of calls with everybody pissed off. Not necessarily pissed off at me, but the Arctic chill gave me a lot of work, we'll say, over the weekend. I actually had a restaurant that I think the original system was downsized or undersized, and it just couldn't keep up.
We were talking about that. That was it heat pump? No.
Well, so they had 3 rooftop units and all electric. One of them was a heat pump. The 2 of them were just straight heat strips. And the one that was a heat pump, I forget the capacity and anything other than the electric side of things. But each one of them had the 15 kW heat strip kits. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 of those on the roof, heat strip kits. And at the time, it was so cold, the heat pump wasn't even thinking about running. So they had what was that fancy equation you guys gave me the other day? It came out to be like 153,545 BTUs.
3,000 some BTUs, yeah.
Yeah, 34. Was it 3413?
Yeah,
I was trying to remember that.
Yeah.
And so pretty much they had 150,000 BTUs for this entire restaurant that has, the dining room is pretty much all glass. All the walls are glass. People are coming in through the door all the time. The drive-through windows opening and closing all the time. They have all this infiltration coming through. And I even made sure the economizers are closed. But when it was 40-mile-an-hour winds outside, negative 25-degree wind chill factor, I couldn't get that restaurant above 50 degrees.
How long has the restaurant been there?
Oh, it's been there for years. So I don't know, 10, 15 years.
You've had this problem before, though, right?
Well, I would assume so. Like the manager hasn't been there very long. She's only been there for like a year or 2, so she had no recollection of it. But
how old is the equipment?
5-10 years.
I mean, they had to.
I don't know if it's original to the building. I don't know if they got that building from if it was another franchise, another restaurant, and then they converted it over to this, and then did their little deal, or if it's always been this particular restaurant and it was designed this way from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know. Sometimes when this particular chain goes in and they take over an old restaurant, they retrofit a lot of things. They'll change out the rooftop units. They'll take out their dining room walls and make everything glass to make it look nice. But I don't think they really take into account like heat load calculations when they do stuff like this.
Yeah. One thing dealing with restaurants, I've been noticing this too, is they tend to think about the guests' visual impressions of the building.
Far more 100%.
Than they think about operations. I have restaurants right now that at the end of the year, they're not doing preventative maintenance. They're not spending any money. They're on a total spending freeze, but they're remodeling the buildings and painting them. And I'm like, you guys need to change all your R22 package units on the roof. Oh no, we don't have money for that. But you're painting the building. Like
we got to freshen our.
This is how chain restaurants, because they want to, they want the guests to come in and be like, oh, it's so pretty in here,
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
There was
nobody sees the kitchen except us.
Nope.
Yeah, right. There was a comment in chat about the Lennox condensers. It was a good comment because some people don't know this. And Michael House, good answer. That's he was talking about when you can't get the service ports on the condensers, some of the condensers. Lennox was good for that too. Saying to unscrew the service valves so you get it on, like let's say a Schrader core remover and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, there was Lennox screwed up on something else in the day. I forget what it was. You had to take up. It was one of their furnaces. You had to take apart this whole assembly. I think it was a flame sensor. It was Lennox or somebody else. To check a flame sensor, you had to take apart the whole assembly, like the whole burner assembly, to take apart a flame sensor or to check a flame sensor, whatever it is. Anyways, I'm pretty sure
Carrier has a design like that. York has a design like that. It's like, morons.
I know. I'm telling you.
Does wind chill affect heat pump? Air temp doesn't change. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Does wind chill affect heat pump?
Why wouldn't wind chill change the temperature of the air going into the heat pump?
Well, because it's like wind chill. You don't even know what wind chill is, Chris. It's a foreign.
I
Foreign
know what
humidity
wind
That's
chill
true.
is.
California.
I know what it is.
It's like what it's a feels like temperature. It's not an
Yeah.
actual temperature.
It's measuring the evaporation rate on your skin, right? Essentially, I mean that's the difficult way to say it.
I suppose. I don't really
Yeah.
know. But
But I mean, it was so cold. I can't imagine these 10, 15-year-old heat pumps were even going to, even if it was running, which it wasn't running. And I honestly didn't care that it wasn't running, because even if that one singular heat pump got up and running, it wasn't going to do jack shit for the whole building. But even if it was running, I don't think it could have done much at all. Like, was it going to blow out like 40-degree air on top of everybody with its little heat pump pulling out heat energy out of the negative 40-degree air? Which again was measured wind chill factor.
was it?
Yeah. It was like negative 30. I don't know. I don't keep tabs on this
It
stuff.
was pretty freaking cold.
I don't
It was-
understand like what all the Facebook posts, all the ridiculously dumb Facebook posts of everybody saying to just turn your heat pump off and put them on strictly resistance heat. Like, why is everybody saying that? Can't you stage your systems and set them up properly to where resistance heat comes on when it goes into defrost?
Well, not just that. You could actually have your resistance heat run at the same time.
Yeah, like I don't
Mhm.
understand why the entire. It dumbfounds me when you see Facebook light up and all the HVAC groups, and you see all this.
Ty got all set off about that.
Yeah,
TY Banana Man.
Yeah, Banana Man. We haven't seen him for a while. In here.
I've seen Ty. Well, he's been popping up in my messages, so
Sliding into your DMs.
sliding into my DMs. No, he's just
See, I
always
kind of
fun.
thought that's how heat pumps are supposed to be set up. That you have the heat pump actually running, and then let's say, I don't know, whether it's it doesn't reach a certain temperature and amount of time, or however it's staged, then your heat strips come on.
You know, and I let me step back and say this. I need to not make fun of people's ignorance, because everybody makes mistakes and a lot of people don't understand things. I mean, there's lots of things that I don't understand.
Didn't you just say earlier that they that we have water instead of Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I
Just
mean,
just
you
making
know,
sure.
I think it's just a lack of understanding on how a heat pump works, and people just don't want to learn.
I mean,
You know
I'll
what
be honest. I just learned a bunch of stuff about heat pumps over the. I think this last week here, I had to call Adam to talk to about how a heat pump thermostat was wired. So I'm completely ignorant on heat pumps, honestly.
I mean, there's not a lot of heat pumps around me. You know,
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
thing
I
that I'm trying to
hardly see 'em.
like, I see all these people posting, including Nate Adams, who's in the chat right now, HVAC 2.0, and
What
they always
up in
post about
Hey,
like
dog.
the energy monitoring side of things, right?
Mhm.
I'm monitoring the energy on one that I did. It's a big house, over 3,000 square feet, maybe closer to 4,000. I don't remember. But I installed 2 heat pumps there. He had propane, and we did heat pumps with resistance backup. And I'm watching the energy use on this, and I'm like, I don't know, where are we going with this? Like, I don't know what like heads or tails of this crap. You know what I mean? Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. I know he called me and he was like, my electric bill seems a little bit high. I'm thinking, yeah.
What was the one, Adam? You were telling us a story about someone who was saying their electric bill was really high, and then you went over there and found out it wasn't your problem.
Oh, that was that one. Well,
Oh.
He has a lot of other things going on. So I'm not saying like the heat pumps and the resistance are not drawing a lot of power, but he also has a hot tub outside
Oh,
that's drawing a lot. And then I went out there when I was there that day. I went to go find him, and his wife's like, he's in the garage. I went in the garage, and he has electric resistance heaters hanging in the wall,
Oh wow.
heating the garage outside.
Is
And
it
it's like,
nice and insulated, or is it just?
I mean, it's insulated, but it's a detached garage, and he's heating it with resistance heat.
Is that the one that you put the blower door on?
I did a blower door there a long time ago.
Is this the one with the air barrier that was
No.
going in?
That's the one I was saying was the one you were telling us about with when you went and put the blower door on, and you're like, that's your problem.
Yeah, that was fun. They actually just finished that yesterday. I want to go figure out. I want to see the report on that to see
What was the blower door
You haven't
number
got to
on
see
that?
that
Hell?
yet?
It was over 10,000, 10,500, maybe over almost
God
11,000,
damn.
but that was extrapolated or whatever they call it, because I could only
I mean,
pull it down to negative 25 pascals. Like we didn't have enough balls to do it.
See, how is that even
Yeah.
possible? Wasn't my house like 5,500 or something?
Mm-hmm.
So
If
how
you
is there?
use- Oh, sorry.
How
go
is there a house that's twice as leaky as my house that was built in the 1800s? Like that's where the windows open.
Shit happens when you party naked. But
Yeah,
his
it does.
bill was $700 for November, and we weren't even cold in November.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So
No kidding, man.
I don't know.
Wow.
But he
Is
did
he
aero
cooking
barriers.
food in the dryer?
Supposedly they got down to less than 5 air changes an hour. But this
Okay.
aerial barrier guy, he
Oh,
always
did
talks,
okay.
he always talks air changes. I want to look in the report. I'm hoping he is CFM 50. But either way, I'm going to go back there and I carry the blower door out of the truck. I'm going to stick it in and just see where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old is this house? Is it an old house that's just not insulated, or is it modern
it's
age?
over probably 120-ish.
Okay.
But it's big. It's a big house.
I'm not understanding, like, you know, I get the way that we do things, but we want to electrify everything, and I understand why we want to electrify everything, but we haven't figured out how we're going to sustain the power delivery. And
Yeah, good luck with that in California, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, California is going to be the first place that's dying. I mean, we implement change before we figure out how we're going to do it.
Mhm.
And I know in the future, once they greenlight nuclear energy more, then yeah, our problems are going to be solved as long as they do it properly and everything. But right now, we're just not set up for the entire country to electrify right now. And I understand the benefits of it, but we're just not set up for that yet. And I don't know, we'll see. I mean,
Yeah, we'll have to
everybody's gonna
dig up
start
more
having
coal to.
problems.
It's funny
Well-
you say that because sorry, Adam. I think it was last week. I think I posted in our group. They were saying that we're running out of energy, and we're in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
So and we have to figure out how we're gonna falls underground just to make energy. Like I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds kind of weird, but all right. So
I feel like too, again, I understand the concept of electrifying, and I see Nate saying batteries are going to
Sure,
help, and I get it. Okay, yes, I understand the concept of electrifying, but I'm saying that what I feel like the entire world right now, like a lot of the prominent countries that, you know, are friends with us, essentially, we're all trying to electrify, and I feel like it's not all their beliefs. It's like one group of people says this is the best thing ever, and then everybody jumps on it and just runs with it. Like, yeah, we're gonna electrify everything, and like I don't think everybody's really thought everything through.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
not affordable to electrify everything right now.
All right. Now.
You know, yeah, I know that solar and batteries, but honestly, if you take away the subsidies, nobody can afford solar. Nobody. If you don't subsidize it,
Which
you know,
it's kind of
Yeah.
weird because like in other countries,
Anonymous.
solar is a lot more affordable than it is here. You know.
yeah, well, but that's
And
part
I
of our
think
problem.
if I remember correctly, I was reading a long time ago, a couple of years ago, I was reading that Germany, I think it's Germany for a while. I think they were paying like 100%. Their government was paying like, I want to say, or maybe it was another country. Somebody was paying 100% if you install solar on your house. So like
Yeah.
everyone had solar, like 100% everyone had solar. And it was just
And how I understand, like I appreciate what you're saying. He's pretty sure folks much smarter than us have the grid portion figured out. Okay, I hope that people much smarter than us have it
I
figured
know.
out. But
I mean, we're talking about people like in the government, so
the way
Yeah.
that we see things, like again, understand electrification is already mandated in parts of California, and it's an utter disaster right now.
well,
Like, we have not figured this out.
There's a lot of other places that it's going on too right now besides California.
Yeah.
Actually, I still have a gift card for this. I did like some kind of Zoom meeting with this builder because they bought all this land that they had to build a new subdivision in, and it had the new code or whatever for the areas that you are not allowed to bring gas lines into a house. It had to be electric, and they were freaking out because they're in Michigan. They're like, "How are we going to heat these houses?" You know, we were looking at these different heat pumps and this and that, and like all I could say was make sure you do your load calculation right, build a tight house, and if you want them to be like semi green, get a badass heat pump. Don't cheap out and get a cheap 13C or whatever, right? Or 14C or whatever.
But even for myself, right? I'm gonna buy a new system for my house, and I can go buy the highest top end system and get it for cost. But even at cost, that system installed is going to cost me $10,000 to $15,000 by the time I do everything right for my house. Now, if I took that system and marked it up like selling it to a customer, realistically, that's going to be 40 grand or $45,000 installed. Nobody has that. Nobody can afford that. Subsidies are dropping the prices, but people are basically just learning how to finance their way through life. And
true.
Here's the thing.
Let's put it this way.
Here's my one issue with it is like, all right, so once everyone starts throwing these things in left and right, and you like, I'm seeing ads by me now. There's no heat pumps. I never see heat pumps, but the only heat pumps I run into are the ones I install. Yeah. There's like companies that are putting advertisements on Facebook near me because I see it. And once these heat pumps start having issues, I want to see how hard these homeowners are going to, you know, how big of a problem is it going to be to have them serviced? Like,
yeah.
Well, and
good point,
again,
Adam. Good point.
let me reiterate, I'm not against electrification. I understand that it's a good thing. I just don't see how it's going to work yet. So, and I'm not against heat pumps. I'm not against anything. Like, I'm not out here saying they suck. I'm not one of those people. Like, I get it. It's just the cost.
Like, looking at it from like my point of view, where I haven't seen a lot of them, I haven't worked on much of them.
Back away from your mic. You're like, I don't know what it is right now. Yeah,
very loud.
Yeah, it's weird.
Can
yeah, there you go.
Now?
Just go.
I mean, I haven't moved. I haven't moved my chair.
Yeah, like right now is perfect, but then it's like clips every couple seconds.
Maybe you're just sensitive, Chris. You sound like you're very sensitive today.
I am. It's the medicine.
All right. Well, anyway, so like from my point of view, not working on a lot of these, and I wonder if there's going to be like a hard learning curve when, let's say, we just implement a ton of heat pumps over this next year, and then all of a sudden we got these guys like trying to figure out heat pumps. I mean, yeah, it's not that hard of a concept, but you'd be surprised at what is kind of hard for a lot of technicians to figure out. Like, I'm just getting into some nursing homes now, and they have a lot of heat pumps, and I'm like, well, shit, I better fucking get up on my heat pump game and start learning this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a lot of techs that don't really want to learn or educate themselves to get better. They're going to learn the hard way.
Well, I think in the Midwest, everyone's scared of heat pumps. Like, they're terrified of heat pumps, you know.
I'm scared.
I have that. Oh, that was another one that I did. Condo, 3,000-ish square foot condo in Oak Park. And he had two 90,000 BTU 90% furnaces and two 3-ton condensers. I did a load on it, and I ended up installing a 3-ton heat pump by him, which 8 kW backup. Combine the ductwork into one system. So, and that was one that I was like, I really hope I did my math right on this one. You know what I mean? Like, did I put everything in the load properly? Did we, is it dot the I's and cross the
Imagine this though. So we live in a society right now where you have all these HVAC companies that are making millions of dollars going out there and selling all these boxes, like selling all these furnaces. They're not doing heat load calculations properly. They're, you know, maybe they're saying heat exchangers are going bad. Like, fast forward in 5 years where we are now selling heat pumps instead of heat exchanger normal furnaces, and we're still not doing heat load calculations properly. Like, what's that future going to look like? Everything's undersized, wrong. You know, like,
they're just going to find another reason to sell. And these big, giant, big name residential companies that are selling hundreds of thousands of these boxes, right, and making these millions or whatever, they would not exist and could not exist if they weren't selling financing, because nobody has 35 grand in their pocket to buy a new air conditioning system tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nobody. But I can sell it to you for easy payments. Same thing with the cars right now. Electric cars. To go buy a Tesla, you're in 150 grand. And that's with subsidies. So who's affording $150,000? Okay, let's get the cheap one. That's 100. Who's affording?
Then you go on a road trip. You got to plan. Like, wherever I go, I have to make sure I can charge it wherever I'm going to.
the Tesla is the best when it comes to the charging, because before they built up their cars, they built a network and their computerized systems in their cars. I will say they're super smart, because they tell you need to park at this charger for 45 minutes. Then you go to the next one for 45 minutes. They never fill them 100% like we do when we go get gas. They're all calculated. So the Tesla's got it figured out, but every other electric car, no, they have to rely on Electrify America or other charging systems that don't have the high, fast superchargers like Teslas have.
Yeah.
And even the Teslas, though, go watch the serious car review videos during this deep freeze. And there's some really interesting data about the electric cars. And, you know, people were pulling up to the Tesla chargers and their batteries couldn't get warm enough to accept the charge, even with the battery heaters in the cars. And it's very interesting. So again, this is the implementation where I think Tesla's got it figured out for the most part, but they're struggling still, you know.
They're probably ahead of the curve.
Yeah, but the big name car companies like Ford right now, Ford is struggling because they don't have a charging network and they're relying on these low end chargers and they're struggling with it. You know, and again, it's that thing. Honestly, if you know, think about like Dave Ramsey and stuff, right? Because I went through the Ramsey program and I learned how to get out of debt and all this different stuff. And this is all screaming in your head, don't do it. None of this. So because nobody can afford it.
You know, what I think about it immediately is sometimes when I get home from work, I forget to charge my phone up, and then I get up in the morning, like, oh shit, I forgot to charge my phone up.
That totally would happen to me.
Yeah, you forget to charge your car up, and then you're like, well, kids can't go to school. I can't go to work for another hour or whatever.
They need to have like an automatic dongle. You know, like you know, in the fighter
like wireless charging, where it's just in your garage floor.
Yeah,
and you park
that's what's going to happen. It's going to be like
it's got to be like that.
Floor heat. You know, you're going to park your car in there,
or like the fighter jets where they're like refueling in the air, where like the freaking fuel.
Oh yeah.
But think about
the
this.
Fuel
like,
dong.
You know,
Is that what you said? The fuel dong?
Fuel dong.
Fuel dong, the fuel wiener. You know, Ford came out with the Transit electric van that gets like, what is it, 180 miles to a charge, not loaded. So I was talking to my dad because I like the technology that Ford has, but realistically, I couldn't buy an electric van until I can get a minimum of 500 miles on a charge, because I have to go everywhere and I can't stop to charge. I have a full day. Think about where that's going to be for electric vans with employees. So you're going to pay your guy to sit at the charger for 2 hours
45
to get
minutes, 2 hours,
10 minutes of charge, you know, 10 miles of range. Like, no, it's not practical, at least in the world that we live in today, to have fully electric fleet of vehicles. It's just not going to happen.
I know this isn't 100% accurate, but I feel like we're still dealing with like a primitive technology, even though the technology of like the batteries and everything it's come a long way. So it's not necessarily primitive, but like we're still using batteries on things. Like we haven't found a car that can just generate its own power, you know, like, I mean, wouldn't there be a way if we could get an electric car to generate or somehow create another charge, you know, like a alternator or something that's...
Well, they have regeneration built into a lot of the cars. When you go to slow down, when you let off the gas, it automatically applies brake regeneration and it recharges the batteries, but it's a very small percentage right now.
The thing is too... Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, somebody in chat was saying something like that. John Harrell. Ford has a biflow. It can turn DC back to AC volt to power shift.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying.
Another thing too is everyone's asking, like, obviously we haven't figured it out yet, but like there hasn't been money behind it before.
Yeah.
And when there's money behind something and it's like you have to do something, and think of how quickly technology evolves, right? Like shit's gonna change very quickly. Heat pumps are pretty, like if you buy the right heat pump, they're pretty freaking badass right now.
Yeah.
Like, legit. The ones I installed in that I was talking about in that larger home, it rarely hit resistance. The only time I was hitting resistance was during defrost, right? Maybe a little bit more than that, but like not as much as you would think. Not as much as I would think. But those are some...
What do you think the I don't know, the repair costs of a heat pump over a year or whatever are compared to like a regular furnace setup? Like I know you got inducers that go bad in the wintertime, but now you're going to have like refrigerant leaks in the wintertime versus, you know, I don't know, condenser fans in the summertime. Like, is there one that's more expensive?
that's a good point. You're outside trying to find a leak in a condenser and it's negative 20. That ain't getting fixed. And that house now is relying is strictly off resistance heat. But I don't know. I mean, that's always been a thing. So, but I don't know.
Yeah, you make sure you got electric heat strip backup, emergency backups.
Or redundancy. I mean, maybe we start building redundancy into our homes. You put two 2-ton systems in, so at least you have half the house.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, but people can't even afford one system in their house.
That's also true.
I'm thinking about like my electric bills are freaking making me want to pull my hair out right now. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I had a $400 electric bill last month. And I'm like,
wow,
what? There's not like, dude, my kid, I feel
bad. Are you watching your monitor? What's going on?
I'm going to go look at it, but I haven't looked at it, but nothing's changed.
We need to go with the smaller size. You need to run the blower motor at a faster speed. That's what you need to do. That's going to give you the most efficiency you got.
Oh, yeah?
I think you just need to pull the Band-Aid off and stop being a vagina.
Yeah. but the reason why I was saying that was because like I'm kind of trying to think like I wish I could make solar make sense to me, but it doesn't make sense. Now, but here's the thing. I don't think about solar. I don't think about because financially, I don't look at incentives. When a solar salesman comes to my house and they say, we can give it to you for $200 a month, throw that shit out the door. I want to know how much it costs, period.
Why?
Because when I go to buy a car, I don't talk to them about financing. I say, how much is the car?
Like, yeah, but if the government's going to flip part of the bill, why don't you take that into consideration?
Because the government's not flipping it.
If you're paying $200 a month and you're financing it for $200 a month, if your electric bill historically has been $400 to $700 a month,
yeah,
come on.
Like how much
in the long run? Yeah, but I don't like financing. That's
like how much could you actually make off it? Let's say you got a 2,000 square foot house, you got solar panels all up on the roof.
See, and that's the other thing too. Putting solar panels on the roof is the most retarded idea in the world. I don't want them on my roof because that's dumb. Now you can't ever go on your roof, or if you need them fixed, if you got to get something fixed on your roof, you got to pull all the freaking. That's dumb.
Well, that and you have to have somebody. You have to have somebody come out and clean them all the time.
And that's like, something nobody does. Every solar panel house that I see with solar panels, they're covered in dirt. Nobody's getting them clean.
But but back to what I was saying, like how much do you think you actually get off of a solar panel? Like 2,000 square foot house, everything's up on the roof, all solar panel. Like what do you think you're
I don't know.
$50 a month?
Batteries though to make it economical though. I mean
a month. Like that's how much
is that what you're knocking off your electric bill?
No, you could actually, I'm pretty sure they could design them. They try to design it so you're like breaking even. That's their goal. Like over, I believe I'm kind of probably speaking out of turn a little bit, but I think my neighbor described it to me. She had it done, and they're not supposed to, or it's frowned upon, or something. You can't just put unlimited solar panels because they don't want you. They don't want you to be considered like a solar farm or something like that.
Oh yeah, producing more than you need.
Yeah, they try to figure out like some calculations in that and like how much you need and. I think the goal is to try to do break even, right?
So then I'm saving $200 a month, not paying electricity, and then I pay the $200 a month for the solar panels. I'm like, well, and then I have to weigh the cost of like cleaning them all the time, and then like let's say I got to replace my roof now. How am I going to replace my roof with all my solar panels up there?
And what's the point of putting solar panels on your roof before you place the roof? So
they actually roof first. That's like a normal thing for because I watched like a conversation transpire. I think it was on Facebook about this with like a solar dude. The guy, like that's a normal thing. Like solar companies will get a call from somebody that has solar, be like, "Hey, I need to take these solar panels down so I can do the roof and then put them back up." Yeah. They do it's like that's like it's not a big deal for them, They do
right. No, and my neighbor just had it done too.
No, it's absolutely not free. But if you need a roof, you need a roof.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess I'm skeptical. I think this is I don't know what it is coming out in me, but I don't like financing. But then the other thing too is I don't like being told that I don't like things that I don't understand. And I don't understand this. It doesn't like in my head, my spidey sensors are tingling saying this doesn't make sense to me.
Besides the making the world better, I don't really understand the payoff and call me ignorant, but like,
is it really making the world better though? Because where's that lithium going to go?
That's a good point too.
I don't understand enough about it to say, hey, one's better than the other. But all I do know is like all these documentaries I watched and everything, like the whole carbon thing is bad. right?
And where are we getting the lithium from? So now we're gonna farm it off to a third world country where they pay their guys a fucking penny a day.
That's a good point. You ever watch those documentaries?
Yeah, to mine our lithium that we're all ignorantly saying, "Oh, lithium is the solution. We're gonna make every battery in the world."
Where'd you hear that happens? Like, how is that? Because doesn't Tesla have a bunch of lithium mines that they do here? Isn't that?
I don't know. I don't have factual. I've just read little tidbits here and there, so I don't have factual. But I know they want to bring lithium, like, because they want to do out in Southern California. We have this giant toxic waste dump called the Salton Sea that was a massive government fuck up like 100 years ago, and they made a giant sea out in the middle of the desert accidentally. But they have lithium deposits all underneath it, and so they want to turn it into a lithium mine, but that's never going to happen. Like, you can't drill for oil in the United States. They're not going to let you mine a freaking
what they could start by, like, I don't know, helping out with the whole recycling movement. There's a push, and again, this is, I don't know, maybe completely off topic or stupid, but whatever. So there's this big push of, like, I'm going to look at it from an environmental standpoint. Like, let's electrify everything because we're going to save the planet. But also at the same time, like, nobody's like, hey, how about everybody start recycling a little bit? How about we make every manufacturer make all their throwaway products biodegradable, like stuff like that? Nobody's, that just seems stupid to me.
I was just listening to a book on Audible, and they were talking about it's Leaders Eat Last. And one of the chapters they were talking about one of our biggest problems, which I know people will laugh at this, but was the baby boomer generation. They screwed everything up. They were very selfish. They got into the government and they want everything for themselves. And, like, we want instant gratification and money. And we develop a throwaway economy, blah, blah, blah. And that's true. Like, everyone, honestly, like, the plastic crap is nasty. It's a good book. But, like, if you think about it, it's ridiculous. Water bottles, it's the biggest waste ever. Like, you get, like, glass milk bottles and crap. Like, this.
Like, where I used to live, it wasn't mandatory, but the people who picked up my garbage, they also had offered recycling services through the city. So I kind of felt good. I was able to recycle all my water bottles. But now I moved to a neighborhood where we don't do anything like that. So if I want to recycle, it's such an inconvenience for me because I have to get my own separate bin. I have to save it up, and then I think it's every 4 to 5 months they have in the town they have these big semi truck trailers that come in, and you can take all your recyclables there. But I'm like, I mean, how about let's just start recycling first, and then let's start solving all these other problems.
Yeah, I
mean,
I don't want to, like, I think I led this conversation down a hole where everybody thinks that I'm going to be this, anti-government everything. I just see.
Hey, I'm 100% anti-government. I think our government freaking blows Republicans, Democrats, they
all do. Yeah,
but by all rights, gas. The more I know about gas and the dangers in the house and everything else, I love gas. I've been working on boilers and freaking furnaces forever, right?
Yeah.
But, like, testing things inside of people's houses and watching how quickly they can go to dangerous levels, and and your, like, health and long-term health and everything else. And the government's raised the levels of carbon monoxide detectors because they were a nuisance to people because they were going off at such a low level. So people are living with carbon monoxide and they don't even know about it, right? That sucks. And most furnaces are oversized. Let's be honest. I mean,
let's be honest.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I have 100,000 BTU furnace in my house that has 32,000 heat load. So
perfect.
It's absolutely silly. So,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so Bill, you had a good thing you wanted to talk about the end of the year. And I wanted to kind of get on that. You had it on your list.
Oh, on the list that Joe was making fun of me about before the show.
I've been waiting for you to bring some of these things off your list. I don't want to make it a whole downer show.
I mean, I kind of like the downer side of things.
Oh, okay. Then I'll keep talking downer stuff.
No, let's move on. So no. One of the things I thought was kind of cool that I wanted to talk about was, like, we're already at the end of the year. Like, to me, that's crazy. Cause, like, whoever whatever his name, Hiroshima Agogati, whatever his name was earlier, said something about like you just stepped off the plane from the symposium and it's almost time to get right back on the plane and go back to the symposium again. Like that's kind of like my year. It seems like it just flew by.
100%.
But there's been so many amazing things that happened to me over this last year. Like, what are some of the things that happened to you guys that you remember, like the high points of your year?
Happy or shitty?
Either or.
This has been one of the most stressful years I've ever experienced. It's just been a shithole of work issues, but it's also been a year that I think I've been the most thankful this entire year, because every time I've had a shitty problem, I don't know why, it's just my mindset or my age, but I constantly think, you know how many people have problems much worse than these? So even though I've had shitty problems, like I'm super thankful for this
year. So you think you've had like a mentality shift this year? I
think so. I think it is. I think it is a mentality shift. I think that, Bill, you are partially responsible for that, because while you call yourself a negative person, you say that about yourself, is that you're too negative. Even though us in our group chat of the four of us, we all enjoy your conversations because, oh my gosh, I wish we could tell some of your stories. You have some of the best stories this last year. But at the same time, your drive to try to motivate yourself has made me think about that stuff all the time and think about when I get negative.
Leading by example.
Yep. You are.
See?
So Bill,
Joe?
It is true that we are best friends forever.
Mine's right over there, hanging where I can see it always.
And my pickle, I finally got it out. So it kind of smells funny. But
out of your butt.
I gotta get mine from the other room, eh?
Yeah, Joe, where's yours? And also that other cool thing that I got you.
Go ahead. Yeah,
I was hoping you could set it in the background and just let it blow around. That's why I got. Yeah. So what's your highlight of the year, Joe? What's the takeaway from this past year? I know you've had a lot of crazy things going on.
Yeah,
I like the day you bought that shirt.
Hey.
Yeah.
I don't think he bought the shirt. I think it was bought for him.
I
think
so.
Something that someone bought
for
him.
Yeah.
100%. Because if Joe bought his own clothes, he'd look like a greaseball fucking Italian.
I mean, next Christmas, I'm going to send you an iron, Joe.
Oh my God, is it that bad? No, it's not.
Yeah, it looked like it was wrapped around a wheel and then drove into Canada.
That was the other shirt I had on. I just had it there. No, you know what? I'm pretty boring this year, so you guys could probably pretty much skip me. It's been that's shitty, but
pretty what?
Yeah, that's been the greatest year. I hope next year is.
Hey, you know what? I will say, from an outside perspective, Joe has had kind of a down year. Like, recognizing everything, he's been trying to stay as positive as possible, and he has been. He's still happy and stuff, but Joe has been a little down this year.
I don't know if I call him happy.
You have a new friend.
Wink, wink.
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Joe.
No, you can't do that to Joe. Those little mind tricks, like, they don't work.
I don't
know. Subtle cues. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
He's talking about like a pimple on my nose, a new friend on my nose or something. I don't know.
No, he's saying you're a fucking coke addict, bro.
Oh,
we'll tell you when you're older, Joe.
Chris got it.
Yeah, immediately. Like, we all know what you're talking about.
Because like 1 minute Joe's really happy and like, hey guys, what's going on? And then just
he gets a phone call.
Later, he's like, oh.
And he's punching holes in the wall.
And he disappears for a week at a time. And then he fucking
bitch. I'm gonna strangle her with a.
Yeah, no.
He never said that.
No.
Oh, Mike B got my freaking. That's my line, bro. I said that to Joe one time when Joe said he was dating someone or something like that. I was like, what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name? And then, like, right as the show ended.
That was good. That
was one of my highlights of the year.
There you go.
I mean, I've had so many awesome things this year. I got a new house. I moved out of my old house. No thanks to Nate Adams. I was forced to move. So, I mean, there was that whole deal. I mean, I don't have internet yet, but I got a hotspot, which, by the way, I've looked into like Verizon hotspots, AT&T hotspots. TY Banana Man had mentioned Starlink. I even looked into that, but guess what? They're not available in my area.
Really?
It's like I live in the backwoods of Egypt.
I don't understand why Starlink wouldn't work. But I don't know what Starlink costs.
Didn't they send Starlink over to the Ukraine?
Yeah.
I live in an area worse than Ukraine, apparently. We're eating cats.
When they diverted they diverted satellites over Ukraine, so maybe that's what happened. They took them from Michigan.
Oh, they're like right out of Michigan. Like they're not going to need this one over here. There's only like 2 houses in this neighborhood.
Just like they don't care if you have water in Flint, they also don't care if you have internet.
No, they don't care if your water is good in Flint.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah,
you can drink toilet water. That's fine.
There's a lot of.
You do have tumbleweeds in your yard, Bill.
Hey, you know what they call tumbleweeds in Detroit? Where they, you know what they call them there?
What do they call them?
You call them a tumbleweave.
Tumbleweave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to laugh at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Bill, that's that one I'm going to say is pushing it. So we're not going to go there.
It's because I mean, you know how many weaves and like wigs and stuff you see like just randomly. I mean, there's so much garbage in Detroit. That's what I'm talking about.
Change the subject, dude. Change the subject. I'm not even going to laugh at this.
I mean, all right.
I'm going to fucking.
I'm thankful for all my like cool 80s stuff I got. That's cool. You know, I'm thankful that we didn't get canceled for all the bad things that you guys have said over the years.
Plenty of time, Bill. You got time.
We got another day. Yeah, we still got a little bit more of the show to go. Is there a minority we haven't offended this year?
That is a good question.
The funny thing is, which a lot of people don't understand, Bill really pushes the limits, but we're all kind of well, besides Chris, because he's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed German guy, right?
Yeah,
we're all
That's
kind
my
of
wife.
we're married to minorities. Let's get it.
Yeah, 100%. That's a good point, Adam.
Nobody understands that, but that's the truth.
Yes.
Like, if there's a picture perfect Nazi family amongst us, guess who it is? It's Chris and his beautiful blonde haired, blue eyed kids.
Oh my God.
Exactly. 100%. The super race.
Hey, no, I have cultural diversity in my ethnicity.
You have no
just
diversity.
My wife and my kids.
You're about as diverse as a Hallmark magazine.
Yes.
You and your wife, you have matching dimples.
That's true. Creepy but true.
Oh man, I wish whatever
cute
I
little
said,
cheeky dimples.
I laughed so hard at my comment when Bill said something like my wife and I look the same or something like that, and he was like, "Don't get a DNA test." I laughed so hard because I came back and I said something. Fuck, I wish I could find out.
Something about you're a little too turned on by that or something.
Yeah, I said I'm a little disturbed that I'm turned on by the fact that my wife.
Back on to get back on topic here. I appreciate Bill as well too, because Bill really opened my eyes this year, and I think I've had a big like mindset shift about
hell yeah, you have
the direction of my life and my career, which is in the process of changing right now.
Changing in a huge way. That whole exit strategy coming to fruition for you.
Yep. Bill just kept nagging me every day. He's like, "Dude, you got to figure this out. You can't be doing this
shit. No shit. You're already old and broken."
Yeah.
You know. Now, the next thing I need to get you guys into is exercising and fitness. Anybody want to do the Hard 75 challenge?
What's that?
Starting on Sunday.
Jesus said, "Is Chris and Jill from Alabama?" No, I am from Missouri.
Missouri.
Yep.
Big difference.
I mean, that's I don't know if that's better.
That was one of the old hosts.
Oh. Mike B said, "Are Canadians minorities?"
I didn't say that. I'm sorry. That was wrong.
Yeah.
Are Canadians minorities?
I don't know.
They are around here.
Canadians are like left-handed, red-headed stepchilds is what they are.
I don't know. They're different. I don't know if I call them a minority.
Hey, I want to talk about something else too. Something that's been bothering me. The older that I get, I don't know. Like this is something that's been changing to me this last year. Is I will scroll through like Instagram and stuff, and I'll get really irritated when I see certain people post about things. And I'm going to go out on a limb right now and say,
oh man,
that there's a great movement in the HVAC social groups, the women in HVACR social groups, and I think it's really good because it's empowering women. It's empowering women to join the trades, and I think it's an important thing, and I think it's going to help to solve a lot of the hiring problems that we have in this trade.
That is amazing.
You guys,
you sir have derailed the entire program.
Dude.
Not allowed to turn their back on their family.
Joe is not happy that I highlighted that guy.
No, I am not happy you highlighted it at all.
I am thankful for that.
I know.
That wins. That might just be the best comment of the year.
You sir win the internet today.
Oh, you definitely win the internet today. Oh my gosh.
Man.
All right, so let me get back into my train of thought here. But
Good luck.
I like the whole women in HVACR movement that's going on, and they're empowering women. But what I'm having a problem with is some people on social media are taking advantage of that. And I feel like they're taking it in the wrong direction. There's certain people that are posting on social media, and I just feel like they're taking the light away from the women in HVACR thing. And I'm talking about women that are posting. There's certain social media influencers that are posting stuff that's like, for real, like you're doing such a good job building up the trade and helping women feel like
it's probably safe to say that any women HVAC people watching this show, we're not talking about you guys.
No, we're not talking about you. Trust me, we're not. And what I'm saying though is what there's certain people that are starting to post certain things that are like really sexual. And I'm not a prude, okay?
What
I think that
are you
stuff's
watching,
funny.
Chris? And what channels is that on? 'Cause
You know what I'm
I
talking
want to make
about.
sure that I don't turn it on.
Yeah, it's
Set up
kind of
my-
a bummer because it's like you're taking like certain people were doing really good. There's more than one too. They were doing really good at posting and doing awesome stuff, and then all of a sudden they just change it the other direction, and it's kind of sad to see where it's going.
Can you whisper it to me after the show?
Yeah, I'll whisper it to you. You don't remember what I was talking about?
Let's do a screen share.
You really don't? Bill and I had like a whole lengthy conversation.
100% remember what you're talking about.
Recently, I've been like really busy during the day, and I just zone out and don't pay attention to.
Yeah, we can tell.
Sorry.
Yeah,
And then
But it's like
So-
they're taking the movement back a couple of years, or the other one too is and again,
William Payne, this is a great point. So he says, can you ask a serious question regarding women in trades? The women he has met are great, but what ruins it are the men. I will agree that that's one of my biggest fears.
Yeah,
Many men can't keep it in their pants and are total
Yeah.
sleaze bags. 100%.
I agree.
yeah,
I have daughters, and I said this at the symposium last year that I'm ashamed to say this because I know that having more women in the trade are going to help the industry. I'm paraphrasing what I said, but I'm afraid to have my daughters get into the industry because I don't think the mindset of most of the men in the industry are ready for women to infiltrate this.
Guys are
because we're pigs. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I've said stupid things and then I feel guilty after. And the older that I get, I really start to reflect on that.
Yeah. If you think about it, like it's kind of like, what do they call it? It's like the boys club or whatever. You know what I mean? And you throw a girl into the mix, is ever gonna, I don't know. Like, I agree with you.
And how he says he's all for women in the trades. I am too, but I worry, and maybe I shouldn't worry for them, but I worry because there's a lot of pigs. So,
but also there are certain chicks in the trades that I think sometimes, I forget the one that we were looking at, Chris, or maybe it was all of us, I don't remember, but it was they were posting about something, and the only thing I got out of the post was essentially like I don't know how to say it really, but it was like, I'm a woman in the trades, and like that was just, she just wanted to be a woman in the trades. Like it wasn't like she was interested in the trades really, or she was like, I'm interested in this, I want to do this. It was more like, hey, look at me, I'm a woman in a blue collar trade. And I'm like, I mean, that's fine, but
yeah,
you don't seem like you really care about it.
Yeah, but like she might be just proud that she got this far too. You know what I mean? Because
that's a good point.
It's like you don't know what she had to go through to get to this point.
Again, Bill and I are literally talking about probably two different people. Like we're not talking about all because there's a lot. Like, I mean, even Jessica's in here right now. Jessica Egan's in here. Like, and she says she personally hasn't had any problems, but she also works for a very good company that is very respectable. And I would only expect them to treat her with utmost respect. But there's a lot of companies out there that wouldn't treat them.
It sounds weird. Right. I've seen a woman tech in person. Like, I mean, besides, like the.
In Chronic Flute, that's Rick's wife. She says they also need to not sexualize their job in the trade too. And
100%. That's
talking
what
about.
we're talking about.
That's what we're
Yep.
talking about. And we're not talking about all the girls, because there's a lot of women that are posting on social media that they're in the trades and they're doing a great job of empowering other women. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the particular ones we're talking about. I just feel like maybe some people are brainwashed to think that they have to sexualize things to make themselves seem relevant, and they don't.
Mhm.
They don't.
You can leave that to Chris. He can sexualize it all he wants.
I mean, I think Jessica would punch somebody in the face if it
Oh,
came
that's
up.
not the one I wanted to highlight. Jessica said, I also don't have a problem punching a guy in the face. And hey, you know what? I think there needs to be more of that. Yeah.
She's short, but she packs a mean punch.
I'm sure.
I've never been punched by her, but I don't want to either. Right?
Anyways,
Yeah.
I think it was a good. Yeah,
Joe's he's ready to
Yeah, he's got better things to do, I guess, than
What do you
talk
call
to everybody else.
on the phone.
well, that phone call, that great person.
So
That's
real
the,
quick,
actually,
let's go
that's
around
the
one
only
more
thing.
time, Joe.
Well,
What are you plan on doing this year, Joe? What's upcoming for you?
Yeah, Joe. What's your goals this year? Tell us.
to come to America and live with a special person. No, it comes to you guys. No, I don't know.
That's funny because we're actually thinking about moving out of America.
Yeah. After this
Exactly.
conversation, we're like, let's get out of here. Let's go to Canada.
Yep.
So I come there, you guys come here.
We want to suck up the. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to say that. See, there we go. I was about to say something really inappropriate, and I'm not going to do
I
it.
knew what
So-
you were going to say.
I missed it.
everything, everything HVACR. That's what I forgot in the chat. Trying to promote some guys' channels in the chat for the end of the year. If I forgot anybody, because I never do enough. We never do enough. That's another one in chat.
Promote everyone.
Big Clive, who was in chat.
Did you forget your microphone's there all the time, Joe?
Christopher Hughes from his
The Energy
YouTube and
Conservatory.
yeah.
I think we
what's
just need
there?
to send Joe a whole studio setup. Like with the mic stand
Mikey
and-
Pipes was in the chat.
Was he, or is it Mikey Wipes?
Mikey wipes.
I don't know. Either way, Mikey Pipes is sometimes in here. So shout out to
Yeah.
Mikey.
We need to
Mikey
get
Pipes.
Joe like a microphone that's mounted to one of those pole vault poles, so he hits it and it's just like boing, boing, like that.
The HVAC Overtime Facebook group, guys. It's a cool group. A lot of cool text.
Hey,
It's
and
not
don't
too much
forget our
bullshit.
website, Joe, where we
Yes.
have the new Jim Davis shirt
Yes.
and a
Put it
bunch
up
of
in
old
there.
shirts that are still kind of cool.
They are.
Yeah. Buy the
Remember that-
shirts. We make 10 cents out of each one. They're
Yeah, that's
really
true. We
cool.
really don't make much. You remember that one shirt we made because that guy was dissing us, so we made a shirt all for him.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Which one was
I don't
that?
think I'll ever be bored to watch these fucking retards or whatever you said.
I'm
You
actually
know,
wearing that shirt right now.
are you? Well, show it off, bro.
He kicked off with
Yeah,
something really good.
Good job.
actually.
You can't
That
turn
is one of
around
the
and look at
funniest
the
shirts.
camera at the same time.
Yeah. Thanks for the chair.
Except for
bud.
you got a
Yeah,
really
good
nice
job.
chair there, Adam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah,
the Joe of t-shirt models. You spun around in your chair. We can't see it because your
We're
chair's
just looking at the back of your stupid chair,
Yeah,
dumbass.
yeah, dummy.
Thanks. Thanks. Nice stitching on the chair, bud.
Fucking
Pretty good, high quality
ning-
stitch.
nincompoop. That's a word I'm going to bring back this year. Nincompoop.
Oh, shit.
I thought you were trying to show us your new freaking chair there.
Yeah,
sorry.
chair,
Hey,
yeah.
look at the back of my chair, guys.
Oh man.
Yeah. So anyway, go check out our website, man. We got stuff there. Hats, t-shirts that you have to go there and see what Adam can't show you.
Why is it hard to get an HVAC job? I don't think it is hard.
It isn't.
No,
I'm
it is
gonna be serious
100%
right now.
not hard.
If you're having a problem, don't take offense to this, okay? But if you're having a problem getting an HVAC job, you need to reflect on yourself.
100% you do.
unless
You
you're
need to have
from
a
Zimbabwe.
solid attitude. You need to have and it can't just be because you think you have a solid attitude. You know, I mean, you really need to reflect on yourself. And maybe you've just applied to X number of companies and they're all assholes, but always reflect on yourself and try to think how you can
Mhm.
improve and how you can change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I guarantee it's not hard to get an HVAC job. Now, what level of HVAC job are you looking for? That might
Yeah.
be different.
And we
you
don't
know?
mean any offense when we say that either. Like we're not trying to be rude.
No.
We're just
But
being
by all
honest.
rights, you don't know where he lives either.
Don't know where you live
We
and
all
don't
kind of
know.
live in metropolitan style areas.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we don't know everything you're going through, but
I
I will
mean,
say
I've seen some guys get HVAC jobs that I'm like, you can't even pilot a vehicle.
I think you might. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know my struggle.
yeah.
We got guys who can't even fucking show us the back of their t-shirts without, and they got HVAC jobs.
Look at this guy right here might be one of the smartest HVAC people I know, but he can't figure out that when he turns his back.
I forgot that I was in a big chair. I'm just
Yeah.
No, the
Right,
best,
exactly.
the best part was when he was still looking at the camera, like
Yeah. I was doing an awesome job.
like he's trying to look at his back of his shirt, like he's gonna twist his head all the way around.
what a dick.
And he stayed there. It's like you think he
Okay,
would get up. You get up.
I'm not showing you my
think-
shirt anymore. I'm done.
We
Yeah,
realized
so
that.
look at this. Look at this little fluff ball I got
What a
here.
cutie.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
this is my new little dog. Oh.
Yeah.
On live.
End the show on that note.
Can you take it?
Yeah. We have to end it on the dog
Turn the
note.
camera off. Hold on.
Yeah, it is an Aussie, Michael.
We need a new ending.
Happy New Year,
Yeah.
Chevy. Happy New Year, all.
Oh, I guess Chris is just done, eh?
Yeah, he's
know.
just dipped.
He quit.
He was overloaded with
Oh, I
puppy
guess I'll go
kisses.
to my special call. No, I'm joking.
Special. Oh, did you finally get what we were talking about?
I pushed the wrong button.
I got it.
Of course you did.
See? I know the struggle. It's real.
The struggle's real. Anyway, guys, out there in the real world, set some goals this year. Go out there and crush it. You
Happy
know,
New Year to everybody.
we
Yeah.
only have so many years on this earth, guys. Get out there, crush some goals, live your dream, do your best.
I'm
Quit
not a
fucking
fan
around.
of New Year's resolutions, but I am a fan of just making changes to better yourself.
100%.
Some people do need a day to better themselves, so be it. I personally don't like picking a day, but just better yourself, set goals, and make this year better.
Kill it.
Chris is going green with solar panels.
If I could pay them outright for a little bit of money and not have to spend a crap ton, I would do it.
I don't even like
just
solar
don't like
power
financing.
calculators.
I want batteries.
Hey,
get
my
electric.
my remote for my Samsung TV is a solar panel on the back. I don't think there's batteries in it.
What?
Really?
Maybe there's
I have a
got some
Samsung
batteries.
TV.
But yeah.
You gotta
But
take
it
it.
doesn't
You
have
gotta
that.
take it for a walk around the neighborhood to charge it up every day.
That's what I was wondering. Like, you gotta put it outside.
No
Nope.
kidding,
I
right?
shouldn't be responsible and be able to push buttons. I pushed the wrong button.
It's okay.
All right.
Well, happy New
Guys.
Year, everybody. We
Mhm.
will,
Don't
catch
do
you on the
anything
next
I
one.
wouldn't do.
if
Well,
I
we-
don't feel like crap, there might be something really cool coming out tomorrow. Let's see. I'm kind of feeling under the weather, so we'll see if I can do it.
I wonder if Big Cloud's going live tomorrow.
Oh,
Possibly.
I'm sure he will.
He
He's a
has New Year
trooper.
first,
Mm.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway,
Cool. All right.
cool.
See you in 2023.